Hello and welcome to another video. So today I thought I'd talk about a little Portland history. I actually just attempted to look up these news stories with zero success. I've tried to look up old news stories in the past and I've never been able to find old news stories. There was an old news story about my nightclub that I wanted to find and I couldn't find that either. So I've really got no idea how to find old news stories. But I remember these stories and I'm going to share them with you. So, I don't remember which one is first or second, but a white supremacist gang in Portland beat to death, and this is in the 90s, right? Maybe late 80s, early 90s. It might have even happened in the 80s and the 90s. So there's two instances that I'm talking about, right? So, and I mean, these guys were wearing around combat boots with big spikes in the toes, and they beat this guy to death by kicking him with these boots. And, so they beat this black guy to death. He was an immigrant from maybe Somalia or something like that. And then they beat a gay guy to death. Kind of the same thing. So these things happened. I kind of close together. And the way I remember what kind of was the response was, if you've ever heard of SHARPS, and the SHARP's an acronym for Skinheads Against Racial Prejudice. Okay? So those things happened, and then I remember a massive surge in SHARP gangs, right? Which you couldn't really tell by just looking at the SHARPs, except for they would be hanging out with colored, black people or Asian people or Mexican people or whoever, people of color would roll with the Sharps. They wouldn't roll with the Nazis. But if you would just see a batch of all white Sharps, you'd be hard pressed to tell that they weren't Nazis. I mean, they dress fucking identical. They had the fucking shaved heads. They had the fucking the flight jackets, the suspenders, the rolled up pants, the combat boots. I mean, yeah. Ideology wise, they were two totally different ends of the spectrum, but they were brawling, right? So, and Sharps became like a big deal. There's one gang spinoff of that in particular, called the Rose City Boys. And they were a sharp gang. They were an anti-fascist gang. They might still be around. They probably are. But the way I was told what went down years later is that you had these incidences with these people being beaten to death by neo-Nazis in the streets of Portland, and that some moneyed interests, apparently Jewish in ancestry, financially backed some key members of the Rose City Boys with the doctrine to shut the Nazis down in Oregon, beat them up. And the way it worked was security in nightclubs were all on notice. If these fucking Nazis come to your bar, call us. And you would have, truckloads of anti-fascists show up. And, I was security and I dealt with all this shit, right? And this shit goes way, way, way back to, way before I was security, but I was just security in like 2008, 9, 7, 7, 8, 9. So, and then in the 90s, before that, I owned a club. And then before that, I was security. And then I ran another club. So, been in it for a long time, right? And I had an instance where I was working a fucking club and the Nazis showed up and they were fucking just drunk as fuck, right? And I was doored at a strip club and I disarmed them all. Like, patted them all down, took all their weapons, and then let them in the club, called the fucking boys, and they left before the crew showed up. But it was funny because they all roll around with knives and all this shit, in their fucking boots, no less. Nobody had a gun, but they all had knives, and a couple of them had more than one knife. And they left in a hurry. It was a weird scene. But that's how it would go down, The Nazis would show up at a bar. The security would call the fucking head of the Rose City Boys. And he would call whoever he would call. And then fucking Rose City Boys would descend on these clubs and fucking, take them out. And so this shit's been going on since long before this latest wave of shit. So Portland is already like well primed to deal with these fuckers. And that's why it's happening here. Because nobody else around the nation stood up to these people like they did. And Oregon, go back far enough, you got actual KKK shit in Oregon's Constitution. I think its original Constitution was written by people that lost the Civil War. So there's that. And that goes deep into Oregon, back, what are you going to do? Educate these people out of their fucking ignorance, basically. That's all you can do. You're going to run around and kill all these racists. Then the people that had to kill the racists, they're just as bad as the racists, right? Now, getting in fistfights and killing people are two totally different things, in my opinion, right? So, Rose City Boys show up and whoop fash ass, kick their asses, send them home, right? The fucking Nazis, the neo-Nazis, the neo-fascists, the proto-fascists, the alt-right, these are the people who are shooting up places. They all claim to be part of those institutions. Those aren't my words. These shooters, wannabe shooters, they all are. They're not any communists trying to overthrow the country in these shootings. Not one. They're all racist, white supremacists, proto-fascists, fascists, neo-fascists, all of them. And that's all right-wing stuff, right? There's no left-wingers running around just gunning people down. It's simply not how. I'm not saying it never has happened or never will happen, but that's not our reality. Our reality is it's the right wing that's running around killing, mass shooting people time and time again, okay? Now, the left wing says, okay, we're going to whoop these fucking fascists' ass in a fist fight. We're going to beat them up, punch them. We say we're going to punch them. Now they scream, OMG, you're terrorists, boo-hoo-hoo. Your people are fucking literally shooting people down in the streets like weekly. Right-wing terrorism is an actual fucking thing. Left-wing terrorism is a lie created by Fox News to scare fucking you into voting against anybody that might align themselves with anti-fascists. Yeah. Good thinking, right? Awesome. So that's where we're at. We have Portland that's been fighting, left unchecked, these fucking neo-Nazis, Nazis, fascists, all that shit, they will just go kill people. We have seen it. That's what they do. That's what they are doing. Okay? They did it in Portland, and then Portland scrapped together a little gang that's whole motivation was to kick their ass, and we suppressed that shit. There hadn't been these fucking goddamn killings in fucking years. The white supremacists weren't just fucking rolling around in Portland unchecked. No, they were getting their asses handed to them every step of the way. And so they were getting, their numbers were pathetic. And now we have this resurgence of people. Now, I don't give a fuck what your white supremacy, your fascism, your fucking, all that shit. I already know the story, right? It's called history, right? You're not trying to sell something new. You're trying to sell something old, put in a new wrapper with a different t-shirt on or a different polo shirt on. Brown shirts to polo shirts, okay? Well, it ain't going down like that here. You got people like me that aren't going to fucking stand for it. You got an entire city of people that aren't going to stand for it. And you got people like us in every city across the whole fucking country that aren't going to stand for it. The superficial fascism is already fucking totally intolerable. Fucking this endless war is a fascist thing. The drug war is a fascist thing. And all that shit's insufferable bullshit that drives me fucking nuts. Okay? Like, it's just fucking horseshit. You motherfuckers scream about freedom. Meanwhile, you support fucking prisons and fucking police states and fucking people just fucking rolling up into your fucking house, taking all your shit because you got something you're not supposed to have. That ain't fucking freedom. I don't give a fuck what the substance is. You know, maybe nuclear bomb shit, you know, but even if somebody had some nuclear bomb shit, are they really gonna, in a world that they could have nuclear bomb shit, are they gonna put a bomb together and blow people up? I doubt it. The drug war has created more fucking problems than it ever did, but it wasn't created to clean up the drugs. It was created to fucking build a police state to go after liberals, blacks, Jews, and anybody who fucking wanted to expand their mind beyond what the fucking they were given at birth. Okay? Now, the intelligence level of people who actually partake in certain mind-expanding drugs, yeah, you'll find those people on the left with their high IQs and expanded minds and brilliant solutions to complicated problems. And that's where the fucking difference lies. The left has solutions for problems that the right simply cannot understand because their brains don't work that way. Because their fear thing is going fear, 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 hate, hate, hate. And it's overswollen in their heads. And that's why they fucking run around and they beat up people and they beat people to death and they kill people to death. And it's just, yeah, it's the ideology. So we're going to stamp it out. Peace.